Were we fooled? Tricked? Had the wool pulled over our eyes? Were we lied to? Hoodwinked? Bamboozled? Because I was legit led to believe, along with millions of other fans around the world, that this final season was the living versus the dead. Right? House Stark / Targaryen versus the Night King. Is that still the case? Or did the Night King legit go down and now we're just looking at Cersei? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ACS Universe podcast. This is episode 4. I am ACS and the Battle of Winterfell. Okay, and you know what? This episode is listed as the Long Night. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, fuck that. The Battle of Winterfell sounds way cooler than the Long Night. Now, maybe the Long Night is some callback to something from the books, in which case, no disrespect. But the Battle of Winterfell sounds way fucking cooler. The Long Night sounds like somebody who works third shift and they're like, man, it was slow, man. It's a fucking long night. Nah, I ain't with that long night stuff. But, I'm sure if you all listen to this, y'all have seen me and my wife reacting to episode 3. All y'all's comments and shit, I love it. I love it, man. Thank you so much. I've realized several times in the past few years about how foul my mouth is. Like, I really have a foul mouth. And, you know, I can't lie, man. I got some of it from my moms. They used to cuss a lot back in the days, man. And plus I was in the military. But sometimes, man, I look at myself and I'm like, Jesus, man, somebody needs to wash my mouth out with soap. When I'm in this reaction and I'm screaming, what the fuck, several times. Obviously, it was a what the fuck moment. Now, I'm not trying to say that it wasn't appropriate to say what the fuck because, well, I'm going to get into that later. I'm going to get into that scene later. But you know what I'm talking about, right? But yeah, I cuss a lot, man. And so if you're, you know, you're a little sensitive on the ears to some fucks and some shits and some other words like that, you might want to turn this off. But I feel as though if you're listening to this, you're kind of like cool with the cussing. So whatever. Because I don't think anybody's listening to this podcast unless you're subscribed to me on YouTube, in which case you've heard a couple of F-bombs and all of that. I'm going to start this off, which I've already started. But before I get into the episode, man, it's going to be brief. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, man. I like my podcast to go about 20 minutes, man. You know, sometimes but I do tend to ramble on, as you know. I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. Rest in peace right off the rip. Jorah Mormont. Jorah, one of my favorite characters. He has a character arc, man. Some of the characters on the show don't have a cool arc where they can say they've been to the top, been to the bottom, been back to the top, to the bottom again, and then back. He went out the only fucking way he could was for protecting the woman that he loved, protecting Daenerys. The memes out there talking about he straight died in the friend zone, man. Y'all some cold-bloodeds, man. He did die in the friend zone, though. I mean, to be quite honest. But Jorah, great character. I hate to see him go, but they had him go out great. Lady Mormont. Lady Mormont came at us in season 6 for the first time. Just fucking real from the get. Straight gangster, right? That's why we love her. And she stayed that way. After Battle of the Bastards, you know, she was the one to lead off the charge. King of the North, I mean, I'm talking about, she was the shit. She is one of the, and you know what? She has not even been in the series that long. A little bit over one season, basically. Like, as a matter of fact, yeah, maybe about a season and a half. Yeah, a season and a half. But she went out like a G, straight charging at a giant. Giant picks her up, crushes her bones. I'm up there like about to die, and then she straight up, just right to the eye with the dragon glass. Straight takes out a giant. What better way to have Lady Mormont go out than to take out a giant? Take a giant with her. You know what I'm saying? Theon Greyjoy. Are we 100% sure Theon's dead? I know I sound probably silly saying that, but I just watched the episode before I did this podcast, and it just shows the Night King walk over him. It doesn't show him actually fucking die. So that's just something I'm throwing out there. I'm just brainstorming. But anyway, Theon Greyjoy. He has one of the more perfect character story arcs in this entire series. He starts out on top, does some grimy shit, gets punished for it more than he should have, redeems himself by saving Sansa, then does some more dumb shit. I remember wanting to punch him in the fucking face when he just let Jorah get fucking kidnapped by Euron, just jumped off the side of the boat. but then comes back, beats old dude's ass on the shores of Dragonstone, and then goes and saves his sister. And then does some noble shit like, hey, Sansa, will you let me fight for you? Sansa's like, yes, because I love you because you fucking saved my life. He went out charging the Night King, knew he was going to die because Bran said that weird shit. You're a good man, Theon. Thank you. What kind of shit? Do you want to hear that shit before you just don't want to hear shit like that? But it was a cool line anyway. Theon runs to his death and dies. Ed has been, dude, he's been that dude that's just been there for Jon. Like, remember he handed him the cloak and said, you're the Night Watch is yours. Like, it's crazy. But I figured he would be one of the ones to go. He's a lesser character. Though he's been there since the beginning, he is a lesser character. So, I mean, you can't deny his importance in the series, right? Like, he's important, but only to a certain fucking extent. Like, they weren't going to have him survive to the last episode. Because they knew, look, the showrunners knew personally, you can't fucking, you got to kill some people in this episode, but there's certain ones that can't be fucking touched yet, right? You don't want motherfuckers to riot. Even though the show has had a history of doing that, in the latter years, they haven't. Melisandre. The Red Woman. She is one of the few, she's one of the ones that legit went by what they say. I mean, like, this is great storytelling, right? They started her off doing shit to other characters, saying shit to other characters, and then that shit regroups itself in this episode. Or in this season anyway, or towards the end of last season. So, I mean, shit. She comes into Arya and says that. And I was confused because had been drinking. I'm watching the episode and I'm like, wait, what'd she say? But that's that callback, man. When she told her, you're going to close many eyes, brown, green, blue, whatever the fuck. Everybody's saying Cersei got the green eyes. She ain't killed nobody with green eyes yet. I mean, she's a many-face assassin. Like, I don't know how many eyes she's fucking killed. But anyway, I don't want to see her kill Cersei. I've already spoken on that in previous podcasts. All right, so Melisandre, man, she's been that character, dude. I mean, she legit walked the child to get burned at the fucking stake. And she's kind of redeemed herself. She brought Jon Snow back. She's done things, man. And you remember last season, she told fucking, and that's another thing, man. Lord Varys, what's up with that? Because she told Lord Varys, she said, I have a part to play in all of this, as do you. And Varys is like, bitch, why you gotta say shit like that? Why you can't just leave? Why you gotta fucking tease me like that? Like, he looks scared. Like, he don't want nothing to do with the fucking future. You know what I'm saying? He don't want not the way she's saying it anyway, because the way she's saying it is like, it's all creepy and shit. But, yeah. And then Beric, man. Beric's been one of my fucking favorite characters, man. That he does the coolest shit anyway, the coolest shit in the fucking show. Besides Arya lighting his sword on fire, that's some cool shit. And he does that a lot. And I love it every time I see it. But he had to go at some time. He's been brought back to life so many times that you knew that at some point in time, he's going to be gone. Right? So, rest in peace to all of them characters. If I miss somebody, I'm really sorry. I've been watching at least like 6 times, probably 10 times since it aired. But along with editing my reactions up to throw them online or whatever. All right, so I got to get to some negatives, man. Oh yeah, I forgot to give my ranking on this episode. I give it an 8 out of 10. All right, 8 out of 10. Not as good as last week's episode. It was more grand. It was grander in scale and all of that shit. But there are some things. The dark screen. I have heard these complaints everywhere. That the screen was like myself. I had to lighten up my screen so I could see what the hell was going on. I've heard there's a reason they did that. I saw an article that said there's a reason Game of Thrones screen was so light this past episode. I didn't even read it because I caught it like 10 minutes before I started doing this podcast. So I didn't read it. Look, it just, like I said in my podcast talking about the season premiere, you've had years to get this episode ready. Like that, if there's a reason for it, I don't see a reason to make it that dark. Okay. I've seen it so many times that I've been able to experience all the moments that might have been too dark to see from my original viewing, but still, there's just no, it's just too dark. I know you're going for scary, but some of the stuff you just really can't see it. And it makes the scenes, the fight scenes, which some of them are already like filmed at like a frenetic pace. It makes them even harder to see. But several viewings, I was able to watch it all. I was able to see it all. And in my reaction, I was able to see, for the most part, what I needed to see. Hey, look, man, when they started this battle off, it was raw. Melisandre come out. She's like the Dothraki swords on fire. It's looking tight. I'm like, oh shit, let's get some. And then I see one of the worst battle strategies I've ever seen in any movie, TV show, whatever. You don't go to them. You got the stronghold. You don't go to them. They send a Dothraki out there and they get snuffed the fuck out. So I'm sitting here thinking like, there ain't no more Dothraki left. This army that we follow since legitimately the first season looks to be no more. Seriously, like that one head Dothraki, I don't know his name. I can't remember his fucking name for shit. But the one head one that you always saw by Daenerys' side or by Jon's side or whatever, you saw him come back as a White Walker. He's done. Oh, and you know what? On that shit too. I spoke about that. I didn't want to see none of the characters that died in this episode come back as White Walkers. But they like to do you dirty, right? They like to do you dirty. So I'm sure none of them listen to my podcast. And if they did, they probably like, well, we're going to do what the fuck we want anyway. So, but whatever. I was kind of disappointed in seeing, especially Lady Mormont. Come on, man. She came back. But all in all, like those are only two knocks. But the dark screen, that's a big knock for me. That's a big, big knock for me. Because if you watch my reaction, there's a lot of times I'm like, what happened? Because I can't see that shit. That's big on me because they've had so long to perfect these visual effects, get everything perfect, right? This episode wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Yeah, characters died. Yes, they did. The most important one, probably Jor, Lady Mormont, Melisandre, Theon, but they didn't kill the key ones, right? So, and man, they be coming with all those almost deaths. You know the ones they've been doing for seasons now, right? The ones where they'll get piled on by a bunch of White Walkers and like, oh no, oh, they about to die, fuck no. And then Savior, somebody comes in and saves the day, chopping heads, stabbing chests, or whatever. Y'all need to stop doing that shit. Because your boy's 41 and I don't want to die, right? I don't want to die from cardiac arrest because I think that fucking Samuel Tarly is about to get fucking munched on by a White Walker and y'all let the damn sword get so close to his eyeball that I'm like, oh. But at least it wasn't as bad as I thought, which I was hoping to have the worst over with by now. You know what I'm saying? But we're not that blessed. So we have to see what we got coming up going forward. Those scenes with Sansa and Tyrion in the crypts, man. Good scenes, man. Great scenes. I like the one where she said something about the Dragon Queen and then fucking Missandei comes up like a straight G. Like, yeah, that Dragon Queen, if it wasn't for her, we'd all be dead right now. Truth. 100% true. I just got to let y'all know about that one because that was true. They up there talking shit, not even looking around at the surroundings, or you know what I'm saying? Tyrion over there talking about, well, maybe we should have stayed married. Tyrion, you think you about to die and you're trying to clap cheeks before you die. Come on now. But nah, all jokes aside, that was a great moment, especially the one with the dragon glass, man, where they both pulled out a dragon glass and they think they think it's going down, and you know, there was a few crypt zombies, right? I mean, you know, people were speculating on what was going to happen. Me personally, I thought it was a possibility, but I was never 100% sure that they would do that, right? That you would disturb the Stark crypts where Starks laid to rest, you know, for scenes. They did, but it wasn't that many. And I mean, I don't know how I feel about that scene, to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? But I do like the touching scene between Tyrion and her saying stuff about the moment, Sansa. It was a great moment in the series. I like that scene in this episode. Grey Worm, he's still alive. He out there straight left. Half his folks out there look like he left him outside the gate. I'm like, damn, Grey Worm, like, what the fuck? But, hey, you see how they was all looking at the beginning when Melisandre lit the Dothraki swords on fire? And they was like thinking, can I get some of that? Nah, you can't. Just them. I guess because they was about to get killed. I have no fucking idea. That scene with Arya, first off, the Hound got to get over the motherfucking fire fear, okay? That shit, it to me personally, it's got a bit old in the series. It's a tad bit old. Like, I understand it in this episode, but at the same time, the only thing Barrett could do to get him to get out of his fucking pussified funk was to say, would you tell that to Arya? And she's up on the roof about to get smashed by a bunch of fucking White Walkers. Which, the scene preceding that, where she just came out there with that spear, that Gendry made her, she was working motherfuckers. I'm talking about that's that shit. That's that many-faced a girl can whoop your ass type shit, right? That's what she was doing up there. And so that's one of my favorite scenes too. But like I said, kind of hard to see because of the darkness. You know what I'm saying? This episode overall it's really tense. There's many moments that I thought people were about to die that didn't. A lot of things happen, and it's just, oh, dude, a lot of things that make you so mad. The dragons fighting in the air and stuff. She knocked the Night King off. Dracarys his ass. Then he smiled at her once the flames died down because he's like, bitch, your flames don't touch me. I'm the motherfucking Night King. Yeah. That brings me to that motherfucking scene. So, you see my reaction. I scream, what the fuck? Several times. Because like me, like a lot of you out there, fans of the show, we were led to believe that this season was all about the Night King. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, that shit changes. I'm thinking, oh shit, man, what's he about to do to Bran? What's going to happen? All the while, because that scene's so tense that you legitimately forget a couple scenes before that, Melisandre telling fucking Arya, hey, do this shit. Hey, what did we say to the guy, whatever, fuck, I can't remember what the fuck. And she said, not today. I forgot that for a second because I'm so into this moment. He goes to reach for that fucking Night King sword. Arya comes diving out the back. I'm like, oh, and she came through there fast too, man. You see the hair on the White Walker. It was like, whoo, his hair, and she comes flying in. He grabs her by the throat. You saw my reaction. Like many of y'all's reaction, it was, hell yes. Oh no. She drops that fucking dagger. Which is funny, by the way, because if you see my reaction, my wife legit thought that the Night King caught the dagger at first. That's who she thought caught it. I saw who caught it. My wife thought the Night King caught it. And so she stabs him and he explodes. At that moment, I'm like, what's the rest of the season going to be about? Like, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? And so that's my question for you guys. Were we fooled? Were we tricked? Did they pull the wool over our eyes and straight lie to us and market this entire season as the living versus the dead? Plus Cersei, I knew they'd have to deal with Cersei, but for the most part, you thought, was it going to be the living versus the dead? Did they lie to us? Or is it that weird ass twist people like to talk about with Bran being the Night King? And by the way, the actor that played the Night King, you're going to have to go search him up. I can't remember his fucking name. He posts this post on Twitter, and I'm like, dude, why'd you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of spoilery, to be honest, if you want to look into it like that. But I'm like, dude, that's something that you should not have posted. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it says. He's like, yeah, what happens when the Night King touched this? What happened when the Night King touched that? What did the children of the forest say to Bran when he came back in the cave? Oh, the Night King touched you. So, and he's like, I'll leave that up to you. You know what I'm saying? Because he's touched Bran before. So that means what? The Bran's, look, I don't know what's coming ahead. I would like to ask you guys to post in the comments what you guys think is coming ahead, because I have no clue. And all this speculating that people did before the season started and per episode, now it's just out the window. Eva, my girl, my witch, how I conversate with on occasion, she straight just said, I'm done with the speculation. I'm just going to watch it because you don't know what they're going to do, because they've just been taking your thoughts, turning them upside down in their head and just going with this thing. One of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in the history of this show, this series, is Arya killing the Night King. It was so unexpected, because if somebody asked you, hey man, the Night King's gonna die, who you think gonna kill him? You're gonna think it's gonna be Jon, it's gonna be some kind of epic sword fight. But it wasn't. It was Arya and her epicness, assassin extraordinaire, taking out the fucking Night King. I can't wait for this Sunday's episode. It looks like it's gonna be some old King's Landing Cersei shit. And by the way, I'm sure Jon and Daenerys and the armies at least cut in half, maybe more. Like, it just seems odd to me that they're going to march down there, I'm sure. But I know they got the dragons. And I also think that spear, they keep showing it in the show intro, that the big spear machine, the dragon killer, they show it every time. So that's going to have something to do with it. I don't want to see another dragon die, but I'm pretty sure at least that one of them is before the end of the season. That's just me guessing. Who knows? You know how they like to do with your guesses. They like to say, fuck you, you guessed this and we're going to do that. Just the same way they did this episode. But hey, it is what it is. If you guys have enjoyed this podcast, me talking shit about, Game of Thrones for a few minutes, like, share, post in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm still trying to get this on another platform so that you can download it. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week after episode 4. ACS Universe podcast out.